If we take a closer look at the sequel trilogy, we know that a large portion of the fan base was heavily divided over especially The Last Jedi by Rian Johnson, and even parts of The Rise of Skywalker by J.J. Abrams, and ultimately Kathleen Kennedy pulling the strings in the background there, really allowing all of this to happen. And we can also, put a lot of this on Bob Iger at the time, who allowed Kathleen Kennedy to do whatever she wanted to do. And that leads us to where we are today of how Favreau and Filoni are literally changing the sequel trilogy lore, and how a lot of it has to do with the character of Rey. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now that brings us to where Jon and Dave are taking us when it comes to sequel trilogy lore. Now, we already know that a lot of great things are changing when it comes to the lore involving the First Order, Snoke, Palpatine, Luke, Ahsoka, stuff like that. That's all going to have a great impact on the canon material in the sequel trilogy movies. Now, Jon and Dave have openly made it clear that their shows are going to lead into the sequels, but at the same exact time, it's going to change the sequel trilogy lore. It's going to shift things around. It's going to be an opportunity for them to make it of their own. And that's exactly why I think fans should really remain optimistic about what the future holds for this franchise. I know that we got off on a rough start with Boba Fett and Kenobi, with those two shows being disappointments to many fans out there. And hey, listen, if you guys like those shows, that's perfectly fine. Don't hold back on expressing that below in the comments. It's okay. But when we look at everything else, like Mando Season 2 and 1, those were great successes. I have no doubt in my mind that Season 3 will actually be a success. So that's going to be a very well addition as well. However, what's really intriguing is what they have planned, with Favreau and Filoni getting ready to make substantial announcements at Celebration for the roadmap of the franchise. They have also been busy teasing and hyping the fans for future shows and more. However, one big plan by Favreau and Filoni is changing Rey's name in the upcoming Star Wars lore for fans both in canon and for the merchandise that will be applied in an upcoming post-Episode 9 series that is going to add to the lore of her character. Now, Jon and Dave have already created multiple storyboards in which Rey holds a new name for, of course, the post-Episode 9 series, where the concept of Rey Skywalker is going to be erased and replaced with the name Rey Solana Kenobi. The concept by Favreau and Filoni that is now concrete is set to make Rey hold the bloodline of both Kenobi and Palpatine. How does it work, you may ask? Well, she is set to be a descendant of Kenobi's younger brother, who goes under the name of Wayland Kenobi. And that's actually spelled W-A-Y space L-I-N space Kenobi. Kenobi's brother is said to be Rey's grandfather. The daughter of Wayland Kenobi is a character that goes under the name of Miramur Solana, her mother, who then meets the son of Palpatine, Dathan Palpatine, who actually have a child that leads to Rey. So let me pause here for a second. If that family tree makes more sense to you now, they're shifting things around. They're changing the lore of Rey's parents and exactly who her grandparents are on both sides. So basically what they're doing is that they are going to canonize Kenobi's younger brother called Wayland Kenobi. It actually kind of rings. It really kind of just sticks with the whole Kenobi family and how they kind of want to give it that little rhyme or special way of naming the characters. I kind of like that. You got Obi-Wan Kenobi, you got Wayland Kenobi. It just kind of goes. That's pretty smart on Jon and Dave's end. But I digress. Wayland is set to be the grandfather of Rey. Now, how much younger is Wayland compared to Obi-Wan? We're not quite sure about that. In the Kenobi series, we do know that Obi-Wan recalls seeing a baby's hand when he was younger, and that's all about he remembers. So we don't really have full confirmation of Kenobi's brother in the Kenobi series, but Jon and Dave are officially making a canon behind closed doors and behind the scenes. Now, that brings us to the next big thing. design changes for Rey. They are going under heavy design changes for the character. In the upcoming post-Episode 9 series, Daisy Ridley is coming back. This is why that she has been posting things on her Instagram, going to Lucasfilm, showing the famous statue of Yoda outside, stuff like that. And not only that, she's also been in the talks with Jon and Dave for several months now, really kind of having all these different meetings and such, and really kind of teasing things to the fans over the course of the past couple of weeks as well. And what I like about that is this is going to be Jon and Dave's chance to give us their version of Rey, their actual iteration of the character. And I think that's one thing to at least kind of be excited about, to look forward to, and to just kind of see what they can do and how they're going to work their magic, right? Moving on. Now, more shockingly, the name Rey even is not even set to be her real first name either, and that it was used as an alias by her parents to keep her hidden. Rey's true birth name is Kira in the current storyboards for the post-Episode 9 series, however will not go by that name in the show. So basically her birth name is really Kira, but she's going to leave it behind her and just stick by the name of Rey. Makes sense because that's how we all know the character, right? Now, this is actually a name based on J.J. Abrams' original design of the character. In the boards by Jon and Dave, Rey appears a bit older and sports a black outfit with a double-bladed lightsaber. So, this kind of is a bit of an homage to what Colin Trevorrow was going to do in his version of Episode 9, titled Duel of the Fates at the time. Alright, he was going to give her a double-bladed blue lightsaber. It was going to be a very interesting moment for the franchise, really kind of just dedicating the character of Rey and making it like an homage to how Luke appeared in Return of the Jedi. So, that brings us to why Jon and Dave are doing this. Why are they doing this? Well, they realize that there's not enough fans that really support the character of Rey fully. Alright, and that's perfectly understandable. Rey was a character that the fans saw as very unbalanced creatively. We saw how much of a mess it was when they transferred from Rey being teased as a Kenobi in The Force Awakens to becoming a nobody in The Last Jedi, to becoming a Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker, and then herself naming herself a Skywalker, stuff like that. It just really was out of place everywhere. You know, J.J. Abrams and Ryan really found ways to make her almost everybody. You know, she was teased to be Kenobi in Episode 7, she was teased to be Rey Random in The Last Jedi, and like I said before, in Episode 9 she's labeled as a Palpatine, then calls herself a Skywalker to technically, quote-unquote, make her into a Skywalker. So you can see how JJ at the time was really trying to just feed all these great things to the fans, and it really didn't turn out to be the best. So that's what Jon and Dave here are trying to fix and reverse, and really kind of just give us their own version of the character. Anyways, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to